Thanks a lot, Alberto, for giving me the opportunity to present my research in your software engineering methods course. I think the contents of the course and what we are doing with our research really fit together very well. But first of all, let me introduce myself to the students who do not know me. My name is Moritz Beller, and I'm doing a PhD in the software engineering research group, where Alberto is an assistant professor. I'm working on Andy Seidman's TestRoots project. So let me explain to you what TestRoots is. TestRoots is really all about learning from past test failures. Now let me give you an analogon of what that means. Most of you have probably seen something like this. It's a crash report that should be sent out to Microsoft in this case. But not only Microsoft has implemented something like this, but Apple and even Ubuntu as well. So what they try to do here is to gather as much information about failing applications in the wild as possible. And what does such a crash report, if you've ever looked into it, contain? Well, it contains the program that crashed and the execution environment in which it crashed. So if possible, a stack trace, in Windows' case, DLLs that have been loaded along with their versions, which might be extremely important, and other such things as maybe the execution privileges and so on and so forth. Now, Microsoft then gathers all this information, and combined with many million users around the world, they can build a pretty significant model of where their software fails and what they have to do to increase the reliability for most of the users and where really most of the crashes occur. Now this has probably led to user software that is as reliable as never before, at least the operating system side of it. However, such a thing currently does not occur when you develop software. So TestRoots essentially really is about making this information available as possible, as early as possible. So this means that as a developer, you currently are not notified when your program crashes and where that crash occurred. So there's nothing like this for developers. And you could also, and maybe that's even more important, you can draw this analogy to testing. So as a developer, there is no repository of failing or successful test executions. And with TestRoots, we really want to change that. Now, this has been quite abstract, so let me give you a concrete example. So here I'm in my WatchDog utilities, and I'll explain to you later what WatchDog really is. But let's just say I'm developing a method is empty. And well, actually this method is perfect, so I'll have to make it crash, so to speak. So I'll just comment this out. So now we basically what we're saying is now every string is empty. It's not empty, sorry. And at this very stage, what I really want already is for my tests to tell me that they fail. What happens in practice though is that I have to save my file and I have to navigate to the according test case, which for me is in a different project. So I have to do this and this and this. And then finally here I see, oh, my test case is actually failing. So ideally what I would have liked is that my IDE would have found out for me automatically which is the correct test case that is influenced by my change to the production code in the isEmpty method. And then, while I did the change, to automatically in the background execute this test, so that I would have already known by the time that I make this change, without having to navigate to my test case, that it fails. Now, You might say, well, this is impossible to do, but actually, current IDEs have something which is extremely comparable to this feature. And let me show you what it is. It's called compilation on the fly. So when I'm writing something here now, that's of course unreachable code. So Eclipse detects that problem for me and tells me, hey, yeah, this is unreachable code. Now, how is that comparable to background testing? Well, let's say 15 years ago, what you have to do to find this error was that you'd have to start up your command line and you'd have to execute Java C or make or C compiler or whatever, and then that would have told you after you manually execute it, hey, you have a problem there. Now with the current IDEs, what happens is that even without me having saved the file, I get this notification instantly. And we really want something like this only for tests. Of course, for tests it's much more difficult to do because it's not clear which test relates to which production method. But that's something for us to find out. So let's just fix the test here again, because I really don't want a failing test in my application. Yes, and it's green again. Nice. So for us, in order to be able to find these tests, we need a lot of data. And that's where you can help us really. So TestRoots comprises of one program artifact at the moment called WatchDog. And WatchDog is an Eclipse plugin which monitors how you develop and test your applications. If you install WatchDog, you not only have the nice feeling of helping me greatly with my research, but you'll also get two benefits yourself. Well, maybe two, but definitely one. You'll find out about your true developer self, which means maybe you're following test-driven development practices and you don't even realize it. Or do you know how much time you spend on writing production code versus writing test code? Well, I don't know for sure, but TestRoots will tell you and will generate a report specifically tailored for you at the end of the project so that you can find out about all these interesting questions. The second motivation to take part in my case study is that you can win awesome prizes. We have an Android tablet to raffle away. We have a mechanical keyboard. If you don't know what a mechanical keyboard is, I urgently suggest you to go to MediaMarkt or something and try one of the mechanical keyboards there. It's an amazing typing experience. And we have some noise cancellation headphones in case that the mechanical keyboard is a bit too loud for you. So now you're of course all eager to install WatchDog, aren't you? Well, it's only available in Eclipse, so if you use something else than Eclipse, please consider switching to Eclipse, or otherwise, unfortunately, you cannot participate in our case study. I'll show you now how to install WatchDog. So what you've got to do is go to your Eclipse, go to Install New Software, and then you enter the update site URL. That's a big URL here. Copy it, go there, paste it. Alright, and then the TestRoots tools will appear, which comprise WatchDog. You tick the TestRoots tools and you select Next. Now you can see a short description. Well, WatchDog is an Eclipse plugin from TU Delft that unobtrusively monitors how you develop Java applications and how you test them. Yes, I want that. I, of course, accept my own license agreement, and we finish. Now it warns you that it doesn't know where this software comes from, but, well, it's from TU Delft and you can really trust me. Okay. Now we're installing it. You will need to restart Eclipse for the changes to take effect. Would you like to restart now? Select Yes. Now, after Eclipse restarted, you will see a screen like this. Welcome to WatchDog. Do you have a WatchDog user ID? No. So we are now registering with WatchDog. Some explanation of what WatchDog really is. And now, please fill in your student email address, and this is very important. So your email address that has @student.tu.delft.nl in it. Next, under Organization Company, I would like you to fill in TU Delft. Under your group, I would like you to fill in your DevHub ID. So that means you type in DevHub, and if you're group 36, you type in DevHub 36. Your programming experience, well, in my case it's over 10 years. And if you want to win one of our cool prizes, please leave this ticked on. If you don't want to win, you can tick it off, of course. And next. And we should be done. So now we've registered a user, and hey, we've gotten a new email with this WatchDog user ID. So if you ever lose it, just browse through your emails and you'll find it, and then you don't have to register a new user. So finish. Next question is, should WatchDog be active in this workspace? And I assume that this is the workspace that contains your software engineering methods project. So for my groups who develop 248, that would be the workspace where they have all their 248 files in it. And then yes, WatchDog should be active there. So now we have to register the project. Do you have a project ID for this workspace? No, we do not. Okay, all projects in this workspace belong to one larger project. Yes, they all belong only to the game 248. So the project name then is, well, again, DevHub and your ID, because with your ID I can then find out which game you actually develop. And then you answer the questions just as they are true. Does your project use JUnit? Yes, it does. Does it use other testing frameworks? Let's say no, it does not. Do we do other testing forms, for example, manual testing? Let's just say no, we don't either. Alright, and then you have to make an estimate of how much of your time you spend testing and how much of your time you spend writing production code. So if you only ever test, that would be 100% testing, 0% production. And let's say, well, I don't test so much, so let's just say I'll test 35% of my time. 65% goes to writing production code. Now, do you use JUnit only for unit testing? Yes, only for unit testing. If you run a high-level test that, let's say, exercises all your complete game from a top-level perspective, you would answer no here. Do you follow test-driven design or similar practice? Well, no, not that I know of. Okay, and then we're done again. Now our project is registered. And we get a new email, again with our project ID. So when we're in Eclipse, now we see that a new icon has appeared, the WatchDog icon. And it says, if we click it, WatchDog is active and recording, the user ID is okay, the project ID is okay. This will be null, or 0, sorry, if you start WatchDog for the first time. And then it tells you when the last interval was successfully transferred. Now, I don't hope that this will happen, but if you find a bug, you can click report a bug here, and then it'll open a website where you can file the bug in case you found a problem with WatchDog. So I think then you wouldn't notice WatchDog at all anymore, because it just silently sits there, and probably next January or February you will get a report with your test practices, and I really appreciate that you all install WatchDog. It really helps me a great deal. As you can imagine, it's quite difficult to find study participants in the wild. So if you know somebody who does professional Java development, or in your free time you're also a really professional Java developer, you're of course very much invited to use WatchDog for your other workspaces as well. In case you have any questions, you can of course either ask Alberto, or better still, you can directly contact me. If you just Google for Moritz Beller, you'll find me, and you can come to my website, and there are many ways to get in contact with me. Again, I really appreciate your collaboration in this. So Have fun coding and thanks a lot. See you soon. Bye bye.